history has shown us something incredible. The most successful and intelligent people in the world were once considered fools by society. People laughed at them, mocked their vision, and questioned their abilities. But these people didn't waste time proving themselves. They stayed focused, stayed silent, and let success speak on their behalf. True intelligence is never about showing off. It's about making the right decisions at the right time. Today's story will teach us a timeless lesson. Being intelligent yourself and being seen as intelligent by others are two completely different things. So sit back, because this story might just change how you see success forever. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a wise minister. He was the king's most trusted advisor. Every problem, big or small, was solved with his intelligence and quick thinking. The king admired him deeply, and his opinions shaped the future of the kingdom. But not everyone was happy with this. In the royal court, many other ministers and courtiers were secretly jealous. They couldn't stand how one man held so much influence. And in the corner of their minds, they waited for the day he would make a mistake. One day, during a casual conversation, the king looked at the minister and said, "You are truly wise, my friend, but your son is a fool. He has no knowledge, no understanding. How can someone so intelligent raise such a foolish boy?" The minister was shocked. He bowed respectfully and asked, "Your Majesty, why do you believe my son is foolish?" The king replied, "He never speaks in the court. He never gives opinions. He just sits quietly as if he understands nothing." The minister thought for a moment and then smiled gently. "Your Majesty, sometimes silence is not a sign of ignorance, but of wisdom. But if you wish, I will bring him tomorrow, and you may test him yourself." The next day, the minister's son appeared before the royal court. He was a young man, calm, humble, and observant. The jealous courtiers saw this as their chance. "Now we'll prove he's nothing but a fool," they whispered. The king decided to give him 3 tests, each designed to expose his lack of intelligence. The first challenge was a riddle. The king said, "In a room with 4 corners, I place a cat in each corner. I also place a cat in front of each cat and one on each cat's tail. How many cats are there in total?" The court laughed, expecting the boy to stumble. But the boy calmly answered, "4, Your Majesty." The king frowned. "Explain." The boy replied, "1 cat in each corner. Each cat faces another cat. So the one in front is simply the cat in the next corner. And the tail cat is the same one behind. Total remains 4. The court fell silent. The king nodded, impressed. The second challenge was about judgment. The king ordered 2 men to stand before the boy. One was a thief pretending to be innocent. The other was an honest man pretending to be guilty. The task: identify the real thief. The courtiers smirked. "He'll never solve this." The boy didn't ask a single question. He simply looked into their eyes for a moment. Then he turned to the king and said, "The man on the left is the thief." The king was surprised. "How can you be so sure?" The boy replied softly. When you announced the task, his face became pale. His breathing changed. His eyes avoided yours. "Guilt has a language of its own, Your Majesty." The king smiled. Impressive. For the final test, the king decided to test the boy's wisdom and foresight. He brought a precious gemstone and said, "This stone is the symbol of our kingdom's wealth. I will place it in one of my fists. If you can guess correctly, you pass. If you fail, I'll know you're not as wise as your father." The king placed the stone secretly and extended both closed fists. Everyone thought the boy would just make a random guess, but instead he stood silently for almost a minute. The courtiers started laughing. "See? He doesn't know what to do." But then the boy walked forward, knelt and said, "Your Majesty, wisdom is not about guessing. It's about understanding." You placed the stone in your left hand, not because of logic, but habit. You are right-handed, and your instinct was to hide it with the less obvious hand, left. The king slowly opened his left fist, and there it was, the gemstone. The entire court went silent. The king stood up. His eyes were filled with respect. "I was wrong. Your silence is not foolishness, it is strength." The courtiers who mocked him now looked down in shame. The minister smiled proudly but humbly, for he knew that wisdom doesn't need to be loud. The boy had not spoken unnecessary words. He had spoken only when it mattered, and that's what made the difference. In life, people will often judge you by how loudly you speak, how quickly you respond, or how flashy you look. But remember this, true strength lies in silence. You don't have to prove yourself to everyone. Stay focused on your growth, your vision, and your decisions. Because when the right time comes, your success will speak louder than any words. Stay silent. Stay wise. Let success make the noise.